when day turns to night. We don't doubt the presence of the sun, just as we never question the existence of the rising stars. We just trust in the knowledge that they are there, and their many faint flickers, no matter how distant or sparse, are a comfort, a collective of fearless and lasting energy. With every movement, however small or great, they alter this galaxy's vast and forever evolving landscape that we each share. And within that beauty, there's you, the leaders, a community of space makers. And what's truly incredible is the differences you all have and the footsteps you've each walked. As diverse as this universe, they're the very things that unite all of you, all of us. A constellation of courage, of champions, with the lessons of generations past, altering the paths for generations to come. Those who part with the skills for others to learn, and those who learn from. With each pen, microscope, bandage, or tool, you are building a place for everybody, for every dream and every ability. A spectrum of all that is unique, connecting Bida to Anna. Your advances can make their future possibilities infinite. Be proud, as all you achieve now will spark and inspire the many accomplishments yet to come. Celebrate loudly. Revel in this moment that recognizes the value of your effort, the compassion and care you show within the milliseconds of a heartbeat. To all of you, the flickers of hope, who've struggled for so long to shape and mold, to banish the limits and break every barrier. The heavy weight you carry and the intent you hold in the form of that dedicated determination, that's the magic right there. That's your gift. The purest of truths you should never lose sight in fighting what seems to be a never-ending night, unnoticed and unrecognized. Though we may not see you, we are comforted knowing you are there. Because sometimes, it takes the arrival of darkness to appreciate the beauty within our sky. You are a catalyst. You are the activists. And should you ask if what you do is truly worth the struggle, just know that your gift is a light to a girl somewhere burdened by a million worries, wondering if she too will ever be able to grow, to achieve or break through. Believe, because we do. For every girl, this world is undoubtedly a better place. Because of you.
Waw, diolch Efra Rose, a noswaith dda bawb a chroeso I Wobrau Womenspire 2022. Ellen, pa behind ydw I?
Yes, good evening everyone and welcome to Chwarae Teg's Womenspire 2022. I'm Andrea Byrne. Well, we are really excited about tonight because we have the best of both worlds this year. After 2 years solely online due to the pandemic, we are now able to welcome a live audience, as well as all of you who are watching virtually. Thank you for joining us as well.
Rydyn ni yma heno yn yr adeilad y Pierhead ym Mae Caerdydd ac yn falch iawn o weld cymaint o telangwyr a noddwyr anhygoel gyda llawer o chi yn ymuno yn ni ar-lein hefyd. Yes, here in the wonderful Pierhead building in Cardiff Bay, we are delighted to see so many of our incredible finalists and sponsors, with many of you joining us down the line too.
And we hope you're in the mood for celebrating some truly inspiring women this evening. As ever, thank you so much to Efra Rose. It's always spine-tingling, and it gives me goosebumps every time we see her perform at Womenspire. She composed such powerful and moving poetry this evening, especially for all of us here, taking inspiration from the amazing women who are our finalists this evening. What a great start to the celebrations. Let's give her one more round of applause tonight. And as we said, we are broadcasting live across ITV Cymru Wales's Twitter and Facebook pages this evening, which last year attracted thousands of people. So we hope that however you are joining us this evening, you are ready to have a wonderful night. We'd love to see what you're up to on social media as well. So let us know using the hashtag Womenspire, all one word, Womenspire. You can pop a message in the chat as well, and we'd love to read a few of them out later on in the evening to see how you're all getting involved.
Yes, definitely. Now, before we jump into the awards themselves, we'd like to say a huge thank you to our headline sponsor for this evening, Vauxhall Finance. Now, without the support of Vauxhall Finance and our other generous award category and partner sponsors, tonight just wouldn't be possible, and we need it to be possible so that we can shout about the achievement of so many deserving and great women across Wales and give them the recognition that they truly deserve. Felly, cyn i ni fynd yn ymhellach, gadael ni rhoi croeso I Sian Prigg o Vauxhall Finance, sydd yn y prif noddwr ein gwobrau heno. So please welcome Sian Prigg of Vauxhall Finance, who are headline sponsors for the Chwarae Teg Womenspire Awards 2022, to say a few words. Welcome.
Thank you. I echo, it's fabulous to see everybody here. We've sponsored these awards for the past 3 years, so we've seen in person and we've seen at home in the sofa in our pyjamas. This one's perfect because we get the best of both worlds. But we're honoured to sponsor this at Vauxhall Finance. Equality is really important to us. We come in a male-dominated, automotive, sometimes not seen as sexy environment. I, beg to differ, but we'll leave that there. But it's really important to us, and for us, it's about how do we make sure that everybody has the right opportunities? How do we make sure that we have the most diverse workforce that we can have? And Chwarae Teg have really helped us with this along the way. So we have our Women's Inspiration Network who've worked really hard on gender equality, as well as other groups across the organisation. And Chwarae Teg have been there to offer support all the way through. So we were honoured to come along and sponsor these awards today and recognise these amazing women that are in front of us here who, I love these awards. I think role models are so important to our upcoming generations, and I think we all play a part in that. And I think seeing this tonight and seeing these wonderful people is just, I always come away from these awards feeling wholly inadequate, but absolutely inspired at the same time. So I'm sure we'll have a great night tonight. Thank you to all of you. Good luck to all of you. I can assure you there's no trip hazards on the way up, so you'll all be fine. And I'm sure we'll all have a great night. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much to Sian, and thank you as ever to Vauxhall Finance, who've been sponsoring the awards, as she said, for a few years now. And as Ellen said earlier, we really couldn't do it without you. These awards just would not happen. So thank you very much indeed.
Yes, thank you. Mae Womenspire yn siawns I ni ddathlu menywod rhagorol o pob gŵr o Cymru. Womenspire is our chance to celebrate amazing women from across Wales. So please don't forget to join in and use our hashtag Womenspire if you're following along on social media tonight.
With so many incredible nominations and finalists to choose from again this year, the judging panels really did have very difficult decisions to make around that. We received amazingly inspirational nominations from each and every corner of Wales. So to just be a finalist here tonight, you're all winners with us tonight, and it's a massive achievement just simply to be here and get that far. So a huge well done. Before we begin, we'd like to show our appreciation for every single one of the finalists here this evening, and those who are joining virtually as well. So some more whoops and hollers and some more cheers for the finalists here this evening, please.
Hello, everybody. It's great to see you all joining online as well. So we're all here in spirit, aren't we? All here together in spirit.
It's nice to have that collaboration of in the room and virtual as well.
Yeah, truly hybrid. Look at us go. Llongyfarchiadau mawr I chi gyd am gael eich enwebu, and congratulations from all of us on being nominated. Now, before we begin the awards themselves, we'd like to welcome the Chief Executive of Chwarae Teg, Cerys Furlong, to say a few words. So, croeso, Cerys.
Thank you. A few words was generous, so bear with me. Good evening, everyone. I also want to extend my welcome to you all to these Women's Spire Awards. I'm absolutely delighted to be here in person with you this evening. This is our 7th Women's Spire Awards, and as Andrew and Ellen have said, it's particularly exciting to be hybrid, to be joined by people at home and in the room. And I've been making my speech from my spare bedroom for the last 2 years, so it's really fantastic to have real faces in front of me, whilst knowing that we're opening up the delights of Women's Spire to those of you online as well. So welcome everyone, wherever you're joining us from. 2022 is a particularly special year for us as we celebrate our 30th anniversary. Since we were established in 1992, Chwarae has worked hard every single day to inspire, lead and deliver on gender equality, because equality really does matter. And the work that we do and others do to support women, tackle the causes of inequality and oppression has never been more important. And as we move into yet another crisis, with each day seeming to bring ever more grim news, we see the same groups left behind, more vulnerable to the worst impacts: women, ethnic minority people and communities, disabled people, those living on low incomes. And I'll be frank, we're seeing the dismantling of rights and opportunities for many people, including women. The most recent days will be remembered for the collapse in the pound, the soaring interest rates and the looming economic crisis, which paints the UK for many as a bit of a basket case around the world. But the reality is it causes really grim suffering for many real people. And in that context, people overlook the measures that have been introduced recently to actually punish women for not doing more paid work, whilst also undervaluing the unpaid work that we all do. The new Prime Minister's goal to boost productivity has been characterised by the same repetitive talk about investing in skills, training, technology, but little's being done to change these things. And in actual fact, there is repeated focus on infrastructure, physical infrastructure, roads, bridges, buildings, but the predominantly men's jobs that creates, and tax cuts for the rich, like bankers and business leaders, also too often mainly men, while issues like social infrastructure, fair wages, and things that would actually boost productivity and support more people, including women, are too often glossed over. This repeated lack of imagination, of real understanding of people's lives, your lived experience, hits women hard. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's absolutely imperative that all of us, voluntary sector, government, business, individuals, society, do all that we can to tackle inequality, changing what we do individually and collectively and how we do it so that equality becomes embedded in everything that we do. So, while progress can seem frustrating, and you sense my frustration and slow in places, we've got to also reflect on that 30 years, how much has changed. And Chwarae has played a crucial role in that change and will, I know, continue to do so. We'll continue to speak out, to be bold, brave, persuasive, publishing our annual State of the Nations report, for example, which really holds our own politicians in Wales feet to the fire to ensure that they practice what they preach when it comes to women's rights, opportunities and progress. Over the last decade, Chwarae have been privileged to be to deliver one of the most ambitious, large-scale interventions by a voluntary sector organisation in Wales ever, Agile Nation. And I want to pay tribute to every member of staff, past and present, who has contributed to that success. They should all be really proud of its impact, which I hope will be recognised by those in positions of real power and influence. Since 2015, over 4,000 women have completed our career development programme, with over 3,000 of them gaining an accredited ILM qualification. And we know we've helped women from all walks of life massively, exceeding our targets for participation among young women and ethnic minority women particularly, and on track to reach all our goals by the end of May next year. And thanks to leadership skills and improved self-confidence gained by women through the programme today, these women have achieved collective pay rises of almost £6 million, with a return on investment over the last 10 years of an astonishing £60 million into the Welsh economy. But behind these figures are real women, 80% of whom said their confidence had grown as a result of the programme. Women like Ellie, who said, I went on the course because I wanted to become a manager. I didn't realise it would give me the confidence to open up my mind and think about a different career. Chwarae helped me regain my confidence in my work and in my personal life. She goes on to say, it's been life-changing for me. I was feeling depressed, trapped in a low-paid job, had no time for self-care, and now I'm pursuing my dream job, have time for self-care, and have even joined a dance class. Thank you for playing such a massive part in my journey, giving me that confidence, hope, and future back. That's what we're all about. But we know that we can't reach every single woman who could benefit from our programmes, so it's really crucial that we work with businesses like some of those sponsoring and here tonight to create really inclusive and supportive working environments. Overall, the hundreds of businesses we've worked with in recent years have given us a really high approval rating. There have been over 600 equality and diversity inclusion strategies, and we've worked with 3,500 individuals, supporting them to work differently in their workplaces. And we're going to continue that work through our Fair Play employer scheme, and you'll hear more about some of those amazing employers tonight. But Agile Nation is just one of the programmes that we do and an example of what we do in, day out, to ensure that all women have the skills, confidence and the role models, the opportunities to really achieve their potential, to achieve, prosper, benefiting themselves, their families, their communities and Wales as a whole. Women Inspire nights like tonight are integral to that work as well, because it enables us to show the rest of Wales and the world the incredible things that women like you are doing and achieving on a daily basis. We've always said that Women Inspire is an awards like no other, and that's because we want to celebrate the achievements and amazing stories of women from all kinds of walks of life, all parts of Wales, different stories to tell. It's not just about those who rise to the very top of their profession, although we celebrate them as well. For us, it's about recognising the enormous talent of all women, doing incredible things, often under the radar. We were talking about it a minute ago, but who are nonetheless inspirational to so many other people. And we see it as our role to shine a light on everything that you do, because the work that women do too often and the contributions that we make go unrecognised and unfairly rewarded. And we want that to end, because we've got our eyes on a bigger prize, which is a truly equal Wales, where women, men, non-binary people share power, responsibility and opportunity, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your age, ethnicity, sexuality, faith, the language you speak, the work that you do. You're valued, the work that you do matters. So tonight, I can't wait to hear about the inspirational women and finalists that we have with us and all the organisations in our categories, and congratulating you in all of that success, celebrating with you and standing with you, because everything that you do and set out to achieve is so incredible. At Chwarae we've got really bold ambitions, and personally, my colleagues will know this, I always think there's more we can do to stretch ourselves, to work harder together to achieve these ambitions. And I particularly call on all our finalists and winners tonight to become ambassadors for Chwarae and for all women in Wales. So thank you for indulging me by listening to me this evening. I'm far exceeding and will continue to far exceed the time allotted to me by my colleagues, but I'm in part taking liberty tonight because this will be my final Women Inspire as Chief Executive at Chwarae, and after almost 6 years I'll be leaving to take on my own different challenge. And I was talking to my children who were 2 and 8 when I started this job, and they told me they had no idea what I did before this. And sometimes I forget, because it's been a true vocation, an incredible honour. And as I always say to staff, joining and leaving this amazing organisation, use your time here to develop yourself and your future as we support others to do, and take with you our mission to the next place. So that's what I intend to do. Always an ambassador for Chwarae, always a champion of women. So we must continue to celebrate our successes together, because that's the essence of Women Inspire. We will champion you, and I hope that you will in turn champion each other. We will listen and work with you, because standing together our voice is so much stronger. We'll continue to persuade businesses and employers that in the future work should be more flexible, more equitable, more diverse and fairer for all. And we will continue to work with women to give them the skills and experience they need to reach their potential, giving them confidence to achieve and prosper. But we can't do that alone, so we've got to come together, use all of the power, talent and hard-won rights and freedoms that we have to build a fairer Wales. That will require all of us here tonight to be, well, especially our amazing finalists, to be visible and have the recognition that you deserve, because you will inspire others who are just like you or nothing like you, who have perhaps thought that they couldn't achieve something. And I hope that during the course of this evening they will see and start to believe that they can. So thank you to all of our finalists for everything that you do. You all most certainly go above and beyond to make a real positive difference to your own lives and the lives of others. This is also a chance for me to extend a huge heartfelt thank you to our generous and forward-thinking supporters. We're incredibly grateful. We don't receive other funding for this event. It wouldn't be possible without your partnership to deliver Women Inspire. So an enormous thank you to Vauxhall Finance, our headline sponsor, to our award category sponsors, the ABPI, Academy Wales, Business in Focus, Development Bank of Wales, Health, Education and Improvement Wales, Hodge, MenCap Cymru, the Open University in Wales, Sport Wales, Target Group and Tiny Rebel. And also to our partner sponsors, the BYP Network, Evershed Sutherland and Race Equality First. Of course, a special thanks go to ITV Cymru Wales once again, our official media partner and now officially friends, for the incredible support you've given us again this year, from hosting the launch of the nominations, telling some of our finalists' incredible stories on your evening news bulletins, through to broadcasting tonight across your social media channels. And like you, and maybe on all of your behalf, I'd like to thank Evra Rose, who just opens the awards with an incredible written piece, especially for you, our finalists. Thank you to Mary Claire Carey Jones, who some of you will met, for producing the great films you'll see tonight and telling your stories. And of course, thank you to my team, to Bethan and to Lottie and our wonderful hosts for all of your work. But enough for me. Let's get on with the celebrations and hear all about our inspirational finalists. Have a fantastic evening. I look forward to mingling with lots of you. I'm really honoured to be sharing it with you tonight. Enjoy, and may there be many more Women Inspires to come. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. Some truly inspirational words, as always, but especially tonight. Thank you so much. Diolch yn fawr. So now, on to our first award category. Let's get started.
Finally, let's get started. I bet you're a bit emotional. Certainly motivational after that, Keris. Thank you very much indeed for starting it all the evening off so well. Yeah, let's get on to our first category. And it is a new category to Women Inspire this year, sponsored by MenCap Cymru and the Wales Learning Disability Helpline. The Community Connector Award is open to women with a learning disability who are being bold and passionate about changing their communities. To tell us a little bit more about it, I'd like to welcome Wayne Crocker, Director of MenCap Cymru, up to the stage this evening to say a few words, tell us who the finalists are, and in a little bit announce the winner. Hi, Wayne.
Diolch yn fawr. So, I think probably most people here won't know that MenCap as an organisation was actually established by an incredible woman called Judy Frid 76 years ago. She was absolutely appalled that her daughter, who had a learning disability, wasn't allowed to go to school. So she wrote a letter to the Nursery Times and gathered together a group of women, mothers, who were as passionate about ensuring inclusion for their children with a learning disability, and created this network of 300 or so groups, an organisation that's been fighting for the rights of people with a learning disability since 1946. And sadly, in Wales and in the UK, even though there have been many, many changes, women with a learning disability are still dying 20 years younger than women without a learning disability. Only half of women with a learning disability are invited to breast cancer screening, compared to 68% of non-learning disabled women. And appallingly, only 31% of women with a learning disability get invited to cervical cancer screening compared to 73% of women without a learning disability. Only 3% of women who are in relationships and have a learning disability live with their partners, compared to 70% of women who are in relationships living with partners who don't have a learning disability. Women with a learning disability consistently receive poorer maternal and pregnancy support and are disproportionately more likely to be victims of domestic violence. So the reason we decided that we wanted to sponsor this award is we need to make sure that people with a learning disability, and women specifically, are recognised and seen in our society so we can change these awful statistics, and that women with a learning disability have their place in our communities. I was really lucky, when I grew up as a young gay man in Pontypridd, I had photographs and posters all over my wall of Wonder Woman, of Jamie Summers, Bionic Woman, and Charlie's Angels. And I was surrounded then by women who were fighting the status quo. And for the last 25 years as director of MenCap Cymru, I've been incredibly lucky to be surrounded mostly by mothers who have been fighting for their sons and daughters, whether they're what we call the mothers of MenCap Morn, who have been creating incredible day services for their sons and daughters, or the mothers of Chepstow MenCap, who have raised recently 1.5 million and built an amazing centre in the centre of Chepstow. So I've been very lucky to be surrounded by women with and without a learning disability who've been fighting for inclusion. And we've got 4 of them here tonight as finalists of our Community Connector Award. So those finalists are Dawn Gullis from Newport, Sophie Hinksman from Saundersfoot, Sarah Griffiths from Abergavenny, and finally Francis Holmes from Llanfavechan.
I work for Academy First. I'm the ambassador for Academy First, so I talk to anybody or anything about any issue at all. Help them with carers if they got problems with their carers, and we give advice as well, and hopefully help them to stand up for their rights as well.
As Dawn does have a learning disability, she's got to fight much harder than people who don't or don't have any disability.
I'm good at connecting people all together. I'm good at talking to AMs, even back driven, so I know what I'm talking about, sort of thing, and they know me, sort of thing.
What she's been through, how she's come through it, and not lost her sense of humour, her confidence, her need to stand up for other people as well as for herself. I think that should be an inspiration for anybody.
I am a role model for people with a learning disability and for other people in general as well, because as soon as they meet me, they understand where I'm coming from.
She's had such a long-standing role in pushing forward the agenda for people with learning disabilities in Wales.
My position in work is that I've got several hats. I am an External Affairs Officer for Cymru People First. I am the co-chair of Learning Disability Ministerial Advisory Group for Welsh Government.
Before Sophie, there were very few women in those roles. Since Sophie's been the co-chair, there are 2 other people with learning disabilities on the MAG, and both are female. And I think Sophie's roles, even though she's such a quiet, modest person, actually, if Sophie can go there, so can others. And I think that's how people see it.
I just think it's really nice to be recognised, because I didn't actually expect to be nominated. It's just been nice to be recognised because I was the first woman to be co-chair of the Learning Disability Ministerial Advisory Group.
Sarah has been actively involved in TRAC for about 5 years. I'm a lecturer at the university, and I'm also a coordinator of TRAC. TRAC stands for Teaching and Research Advisory Committee. She has been amazing in terms of helping us interview student nurses. Sarah's input is invaluable. She does such a lot of work to support us at the university, and she always, puts others before herself.
I was a bit like my mum because she fostered for 32 years and she saw to people as well.
But I think what stood out for me was through COVID, Sarah, although she was shielding herself, she put herself forward to be a telephone buddy for other people with learning disabilities who may not have had many people around them. Sarah, throughout her life, has encountered lots of barriers, lots of difficulties, but has always overcome the barriers. Yeah, she's just an inspiration.
When I got the thing there to say that I was shortlisted, oh my God, do you know what? I was screaming on top of the rooftops because it was just, I was just so happy. I was just so excited.
Basically, when COVID happened, none of the people with learning disability had a health check because they were stopping it, you see. Some people get really nervous to have them, and this is why we have it, to sway them to go, because it can't be so nervous to do it, because we tell them it's absolutely free to go.
Fran initially was one of the trustees of Conway Connect. So we're a charity to support learning disability services. Fran decided to apply for the Health Check Champions for the project. The Champions as a group have created and now delivering a workshop to let people with a learning disability how important health checks are.
We share our stories around the group, and this is why we have our workshop.
So Fran has taken a real lead on creating a workshop, and she really does champion the message as well wherever she goes.
I even do it in my surgery. I spread the word out because I love it so much, and I just love spreading the word out. Since I've been telling them, a lot of people have been having them done now.
She deserves the nomination. She's fantastic.
It means a lot to me because I've never been in a finalist before, so it'd be a very special moment for me.
And the winner is Sophie Hinksman.
Come on up, Sophie. Fantastic, Sophie. A massive congratulations. Do you want to come over here? Let us give you this. Here we are.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions? Is that okay?
Well, tell us, how do you feel winning this award? How does it make you feel?
I'm utterly grateful.
Good. Well,
emotional, but
Good.
happy emotional.
What was that moment like when you heard your name being read out?
I wasn't expecting it.
But lots of huge smiles. Where are you going to put the trophy?
I'll have to find a place.
Very special
in
place.
my flat, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I think somebody else is going to nab you for a little word off the stage, but you're off the hook with us for now,
Okay,
and go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I think you have
a massive congratulations again to Sophie, and a big thank you to Wayne from Mencap Cymru. Llongyfarchiadau mawr I Sophie a diolch fawr I Wayne a Mencap Cymru. Dyna i ddechrau arbennig yn ceremony heno. A great start to tonight's awards ceremony. Now,
you can tell how hard it is to choose, can't you? Because just from the first set of videos you've seen, oh goodness, the caliber of finalists is just so high.
But everyone's done so amazing. Just to be nominated is such an achievement. Congratulations to everybody, of course. Now, ymlaen at ein wobr nesaf, it's now time to move on to our next category, the Entrepreneur Award, sponsored by Bank Datblygu Cymru, the Development Bank of Wales. Now, our Entrepreneur Award celebrates those women who have set up successful businesses with real growth potential. So, let's please welcome to the stage Beverly Downs from Development Bank of Wales, Bank Datblygu Cymru. Welcome, Beverly.
Noswaith chi gyd. Good evening, everybody. The Development Bank of Wales is very proud to encourage and celebrate the work of women entrepreneurs. It's a core part of what we do at the Development Bank. We want to see more women not just starting and growing their own businesses, but also in senior leadership positions in businesses all across Wales. Sponsoring the Entrepreneur Award, we hope will ensure that the stories of women entrepreneurs are amplified and inspire others to see themselves as business owners and leaders. And so the very impressive finalists this year are Katie Clement-McCreish from Neath, Katie Moss from Caldecott, Maggie Ogumbanwo from Penygroes, and Stacey Grant-Canham from Cardiff. Let's hear some more about them.
I'm a foodie. I've always been a foodie. I've always cooked for people. We started with a cafe in Penygroes. Some of the children had never seen a black person. So I thought, I'm going to bring Africa here. And I thought I'd do it through a cafe. From the cafe, we started doing African evenings so that we could bring Africa by food to our local community and the wider community. So it gave people access to us and it made them understand us better. In 2020, we had a very public racist attack on our building. So that went nationwide. I have zillions of letters and emails where people showed their support and told us, our village came together and told us how we were very much a part of the village. What I'm doing in Wales, I have pioneered an African business from the heart of Wales, but I've also gone on to help others in their businesses. I've also worked with the Welsh Food and Drink Division as an ambassador to try and increase inclusion and diversity. It's nice to be recognized, and I appreciate that someone has recognized this and nominated me.
I had seen people wearing teething jewellery, which were necklaces that mothers could wear and babies could play and kind of fiddle with while they were breastfeeding or just being cuddled or whatever. My background is in fashion design, so I thought, I think I would wear those if they were a bit cooler, basically. So I started to create my own using black and wooden beads, which is where the name Black and Beach came from. But at the same time, we kind of had a lot of political stuff happening. So back home in Ireland, Repeal the 8th, which was kind of the fight for reproductive justice, was also taking place. So I developed a slogan which was "A mother's place is in the resistance." I was really interested in women and mothers' position, and particularly mothers' position in feminism, and I didn't feel that there was a lot of representation for that kind of category, so to speak. I started selling those. We donated £5 to Abortion Support Network from each sale. And I chose that charity to work with because they were working a lot with Irish women who needed to travel to have abortions. And also they were very grassroots and kind of on the ground, but all their donation and all their funding is from the general public. I wanted to align the business with that campaign, that cause. It felt really close to my heart as an Irish woman and kind of spoke to my feminism, I guess. So that was kind of the start of Black and Beach, really.
I'm Managing Director of OTM Concierge. Our services are basically split into two, which is business services and lifestyle services. So the business services are very similar to that of a PA, where we do things like help with day-to-day admin, following up emails, client care, invoicing, all of those types of things. And then the lifestyle is a lot of kind of luxurious or time-saving tasks. I'm very organised and I kind of treat my personal life like my business, where I schedule, I've got a young boy who's 3 and he requires a lot of attention. Otherwise, God knows what he would get up to. So I do have to make sure that my kind of time that I'm not working is kind of a military operation of how I organise myself. I love my team. They are amazing. And I guess I try to be there for them as much as I can be. I'm a bit of a champion of mums in business and I want to have a bigger family someday. And, I'm not going to let, being a mum prevent me from achieving those goals.
I was a personal trainer before lockdown happened, but I was working at the time from a garage at my mother's house. I'd converted our garage to a private studio. I was also in full-time uni and working 2 other jobs at the time, so I was pretty busy. And within a month of opening, I was forced to close because of lockdown. So everything sort of flipped on its head. And I was just reactive and proactive as well as I could have been initially to get everything up and running online. We were doing things like Instagram and Facebook lives with like at-home workouts, minimal to no equipment, just to help people get moving a little more because we were stuck in the house at home. But those then that wanted to work with us more on a one-to-one basis, we were setting them up on our custom app, creating training plans based around their goals. And I think as well, a big part of it will be our approach with how we help women, because we are real world and we're here to show you that we can enjoy all of life's luxuries and still achieve the results we want, and we don't expect perfection all of the time. And I think that's something that really hits home with a lot of our clients.
Fantastic stories from 4 amazing finalists. But the winner is Maggie Ogunbuano.
Can I press the microphone at you? How are you feeling?
Gosh, I'm shaking inside.
But you made the journey here from Pen y Groes, and it's definitely been worth it, I guess, this evening.
It's amazing. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Diolch.
And you've done so many amazing things already in your career, and you've published books, published cookbooks as well. Can you tell us what might be next for you? Give us a clue. Any plans? Putting you on the spot?
There are plans. I actually have another book coming out, and this is a simple one. It's quick reads. So I've written my life story from Nigeria to Pen y Groes, and it's written recipes, but with my story. So sometime next year that should be out.
Oh, well, we'll watch this space for that then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. A huge round of applause once more for Maggie.
Oh, we need got the packs here for us.
quick picture. Quick picture. Beverly, do you want to come in as well? Thank you very much indeed.
Congratulations.
Well done
Fabulous.
to Maggie.
Yes. Massive congratulations to you.
And thank you to Beverly as well from the Development Bank of Wales for coming up and introducing that award for us. Don't forget, of course, we've been talking about the hashtag throughout the evening as well, hashtag WomenSpire. And there's a few of you talking on the social media feeds. Suzanne saying, this is the highlight of my year. WomenSpire Awards always leaves me feeling inspired, and it's a pleasure to celebrate these incredible women, all of you here who make a difference every single day. Congratulations to all the nominees and the finalists.
Lovely. We've got another one here. Loving this intro from Eva Rose. We loved it too, didn't we?
We did.
That,
well, always a brilliant start to the evening,
yes,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, we'll read a few more out later on, so get your pictures coming in. I was checking one out that came in on my Twitter feed, actually, which was somebody who's looking at home and they've posted a picture of watching with their dog. So everybody's watching in all sorts of shapes and forms, and you've got to love it when you get the pup pictures coming in. So thank you for that as well.
My favourites.
Right. Congratulations to Sophie and Maggie, as we said, and of course, thank you for our wonderful audience here in the Pierhead building as well. You're all enjoying the evening so far? Having a good time? So we've still got quite a few more categories to get through, so the excitement is yet to come. On to our third category of the evening now, the Gender Equality Champion, sponsored by Academy Wales. The award will recognise a person who has taken a proactive approach through their own work to support women and close the gender divide. Please welcome onto the stage to say a few words and present the award, Alexandra Walters from Academy Wales. She's here already.
Thank you for your timing.
Noswaith dda, pawb, good evening. It's a real honour to be here this evening on behalf of Academy Wales to present the WomenSpire Gender Equality Champion Award. Academy Wales is the centre of excellence for leadership development across our public and third sectors in Wales, and we support current and aspiring leaders to be the best they can be through our offer of a diverse range of unique programmes and masterclasses. I feel so inspired by these amazing people who've achieved such great things and made a real difference in their lives, the lives of others, their organisations and beyond. So the Gender Equality Champion Award recognises an individual of any gender who has taken a proactive approach to close the gender divide in the workplace. And our Gender Equality Champion finalists are Emily Griffiths from Llansteffan, Gemma Jones from Cardiff, Lara Baldwin from Bargoed, and Sarah Jane Bray from Port Talbot. And let's meet them now.
My job title is Head of Business Intelligence at the Intellectual Property Office. When I became co-chair of the Women's Network, I was asking about, well, what information do we have to inform our work and what initiative we should prioritise? There wasn't a huge amount of rich information that could inform our work. This tool is really simple. People just talk about it wasn't okay when something happened because it made me feel this way. And as a result, I didn't do something, or why didn't you address it at the time? Why are you addressing it in this way? That kind of thing. We fed that information into some of the other networks and they've kind of inspired a lot of our initiatives or follow-on actions, a lot of our comms activity. In fact, a parents network has now been established off the back of some of the comments and then further work that we did. And now that's been adopted by the government departments as well. There are a couple of events that I was involved in where I spoke about my experience or some of my values, and it's had a really positive reaction in the organisation. People coming out and speaking about how they didn't know they felt that way, or they had never considered going for opportunities before, but because of me, they now will.
I have had many personal experiences that have been pretty difficult. As 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, which led me to, unfortunately, nearly losing my life to sepsis, as I'd been left with not having a diagnosis due to many medical professionals and people that I met along the way just saying, well, it's a woman's problem, it's a woman's issue. They like to just believe it's just a bad period and that I'm being too sensitive. So that really affected my, and still does to this day, my day-to-day life. Unfortunately now, it's led me to being not able to work. So I thought that something has to be done for future generations. I thought it's time to try and contact as many members of the Senedd in Wales that I could, local MPs, and I've written 2 articles and hope that I've raised as much awareness as possible and hope that one day there will be change.
I'm currently employed by South Wales Police, and my role in relation to this was as chair of our Gender Equality Network. So the barriers we saw within South Wales were very much around recruitment and promotion, particularly promotion, encouraging women to step into the promotion process. Barriers to that were often a kind of bias towards male colleagues for temporary opportunities, and a feeling by women that we have to be over ready to step into that process and to put ourselves out there. We also saw issues around flexible working, not just around the application of flexible working, but the perception. There was a kind of anti-feeling at times of being part of these kind of networks, that it was somehow an unfair leg up for women. And I know that other networks felt the same. And so I really wanted to tackle that and address what the network brings to the organisation and really focus on that being a gender equality network. So I also set up the first men's health group. We really revamped our He for She programme initiative to really bring our male colleagues on board as well, to talk about what gender equality truly means in the workplace. We don't have to understand something to respect it, I guess, and that's very much the message I've been trying to push around lots of things.
So we are a manufacturing organisation, Hydro Aluminium UK Limited. We manufacture products out of aluminium. So I'm the HR business partner for the site, and we currently have just over 200 employees altogether. It is primarily male dominated. So some of the work which I have been doing is trying to increase the number of females in the business and attracting more females to our positions here. My personal experience with the organisation has been really positive, and I try and talk to people about that quite a lot. and try and kind of gauge what their career journeys have been as well, just to kind of make improvements for the future really and keep it a positive experience. It's still an early project. We're just starting to complete the rewards and just starting to see some progress at the moment. I'm really pleased that not necessarily my work myself has been recognised, but kind of our organisation has been recognised. And I'm hoping it will only kind of get stronger and improve from here. I'm proud to be a part of this award ceremony.
Amazing stories. And the winner is Sarah Jane Bray.
Massive congratulations, Sarah. Yes, come join us. Here we are.
Oh,
Mike is yours if you
Just
want
in
it.
case I start talking into that.
Yeah, there you go. Massive congratulations. You've been working so hard, we can see from your clip there, lots of amazing work being done. Is there a message that you want to spread here tonight?
I think the key thing, people ask all the time around change in organisations and change and development for women. I think it's time we need to start remembering actually that it's not just about we're getting caught up in the kind of left versus right, woke versus anti-woke, and I think it's really key to remember that I think what unites us is far more powerful than what divides us. And I think to see so many amazing women today in this room and to be honoured amongst them is just fantastic. And I think it speaks for itself, really.
Yeah, great. Well, truly well deserved.
Have a good evening. Well done for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. Massive llongyfarchiadau mawr. Diolch yn fawr, Sarah. And diolch yn fawr to Alexandra Waters as well and Academy Wales for sponsoring the Gender Equality Champion Award, y wobr hyrwyddwr cydraddoldeb rhywedd. Fantastic. Nawr nesaf, mae gennym ni wobr ar gyfer pencampraig gymunedol nodir gan Tiny Rebel, ar gyfer menywod sydd yn rhy aml yn arwyr diglod nad yw ei llwyddiannau'n cael ei cydnabod. Wel, rydyn ni'n credu bod angen I hynny newid. So next up, we have our Community Champion Award, which we're thrilled is sponsored by Tiny Rebel. Now, the award will recognise the women who are often unsung heroes, whose achievements go unrecognised. Well, we believe that needs to change. So I am delighted to welcome Hannah Williams from Tiny Rebel to the stage. Welcome, Hannah.
Good evening. Tiny Rebel delighted to be sponsoring the Community Champion Award this evening. Tiny Rebel have always been about people, community and beer, and that will never change. Paying it forward is in our DNA, whether it be through the community of charities we support, local sporting teams, or by feeding those in need at our Christmas charity event. We always want to do more. Also, having celebrated our 10th birthday, supporting the awards this year seems fitting to sort out the awards, and this award in particular is close to our hearts. It's perfectly fit to sort out what we want to do within our charity community event. Good luck to all those finalists tonight. You're already winners in our hearts. Our category finalists are Angharad Clare from Cardiff and Tonopandi, Debbie Turnbull from Llandudno, Dee Llewellyn from Neath, and Zara Keelan from Newport.
I'm a key account director for a company called Reach PLC. I look after all the corporate sponsorship of our Welsh events. I do a lot of charity work within the LGBTQ+ community in Wales. I suppose it all started when my child came out as being transgender. I found that there was no local support available, and I think that was kind of really the instigator as to where this all started. very quickly educated myself, got involved with Mermaids charity and did some training courses with them, and then started our own kind of unofficial support group initially, which we wanted for South Wales. And this was where we got together, got the parents together and the children together. We met up, went for days out. And what has come from that and developed from that is a support group that offers 24/7 telephone support for any parent of a transgender child in Wales. I think it's starting to be noticed now, the amount of work that I do in this community and the amount that I do to help the LGBTQ+ community get together, to help them thrive, to provide support. But I'm incredibly proud and honoured and delighted to be selected as a finalist.
I am founder and director of River and Sea Sense. In 2006, I lost my son to drowning at a place called Capel Curig in North Wales. Since then, I've educated over 500,000 young people and families as to the dangers of open water. The majority of my education focuses on things like cold water shock and what lies beneath the water. All the different forms of water safety in different open water situations. A lot of people tell me I'm inspirational, but basically I'm still just a mum who's lost a son. It's just that I've put my heart and soul into the work that I do. I do it from a mother's perspective, but I've educated myself so much that I have been out and done search and rescue with dog teams, and I've learnt what the dogs do. I've taken it right to the core of learning to be able to make a difference, really.
I work for Cardiff People First and Newport People First. We are empowering people with learning disabilities to advocate for their rights for a better quality of living. We help them gain more confidence, empower them to change society's perspective of people with learning disabilities, so they get a chance to change minds and live a better life and feel more confidence in themselves that they've come so far. I'm beginning to feel in myself that I have come quite far. I'm also hoping this will be a perfect endorsement for anyone from BME culture to step up their A game and, to help promote disability awareness in their culture. Because I know there are so many hidden stories that need to be discovered. So many people that feel like pariahs in their own community, just plain old misunderstood, and it's got to eventually get to them and they will want to change society's perspective. I'm hoping by seeing how far I've come, that'll be an incentive that for them to do the same and hopefully exceed what I've done.
Oh, well, I'm Claire Wright. I guess myself and Angharad are founders really of Camper Girls. We both have camper vans. The first time we went to a car park down at Llandwick Major, I think, wasn't it? And we cooked some steamed puddings and rustled up some food and said, isn't this fantastic? We need to get other people on board, ideally. Then we got everybody else who had vans or, like camping to introduce themselves. And it just grew from there, really.
Cyn Camper Girls, mi oedd na nifer o fenywod ar wahân, jyst gwneud pethau bach hunain, ond nawr ni wedi dod dan gilydd, a mewn un dod man o nerth, fel maen nhw'n dweud, felly.
There were a number of weekends planned, including activities like canoeing, kayaking, just surfing or hiking.
A wedyn o fyna, mae wedi ddatblygu, a mae gyda ni dros 1,500 o ferched nawr sy'n dod yn galon ni'n penwythnosau ni.
But neither of us knew that we were gay women until we had a conversation at one point and we were like, okay, great, okay, what do you do, to socialise in the community? Sadly, there was not a lot happening out there, realistically. You need a community around you, you need a network of friends. We want to meet like-minded women or women of our own age, working professionals. I think that's where myself and Angharad really gel really well, is that we actually love life and making opportunities in life. And Camper Girls, really, I think that's why it's really had that vibrance and the appeal that it has with a lot of women who fed back to us of how much they've enjoyed the weekends, how uplifting it is, and how they've met other like-minded women that's really helped them in many ways.
And the winner is Zara Keelam.
be out. Do you want to take this mic? There we go. If you'd like to say a few words, please go ahead. Massive congratulations, firstly.
Hands over the mouth, looking up, really shocked and surprised. You weren't expecting it.
I am shocked that I'm the word. I didn't think I'd win, and the girls who I'm in like the same. I'm not. Oh man.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You're in such good company, and you know you've met all these other finalists, and it's really you're in awe of everyone already, and then you come up and you win.
They're gonna wake up. This isn't real.
It's real. It is real.
I'm baffled, and thank you so much, Diolch, from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to thank my colleagues, my family, and my God, Allah, and thank you.
Oh, we did keep saying it was going to be emotional. Congratulations, Zara, you know, inspiring everybody else, inspiring other women to follow in your footsteps as well, like everybody here is doing with the work they're doing tonight. And thanks very much to Hannah as well for coming to present the award for us tonight from Tiny Rebel. So we are on to our 5th award of the evening. Now that was the Community Champion Award, and now we are on to the Leader Award, which is sponsored by Business in Focus. The award celebrates women who are leading by example and who have flourished in a leadership role. So please welcome to present this award, Phil Jones, Chief Executive at Business in Focus. Welcome, Phil.
Indeed, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's fantastic to be here. Totally thrilled to be here at these awards this evening, representing everyone in Business in Focus, but of course, particularly representing the many brilliant women that we have in Business in Focus. I say that because, if you like, in comparison to some of the organisations that have been mentioned here this evening, we are actually a female-dominated business. Most of our leaders are female. Most of our staff, in fact, one of our brilliant community coordinators, Nicola Masters, is here this evening, one of a brilliant example of the leaders, female leaders we have in our organisation. In fact, there's a bit of a connection between Business in Focus and Chwarae Teg, because my predecessor, another brilliant woman, Katie Chamberlain, was one of your predecessors at Chwarae Teg. I certainly feel as if I'm in a real position of responsibility trying to follow in Katie's brilliant footsteps. And by the way, Keris, huge congratulations on everything you've achieved at Chwarae Teg. Leadership is a precious commodity, and it is often, and so often, learned and earned through the experiences and the trips and turns of life. And I can tell you now that the nominees for tonight's Leader Award are brilliant examples of women who have led through their life's experiences and are now leading others. I'm delighted to let you know that the nominees for this Leader Award tonight are Tracy Jones from Denbigh, Sian Morgan from Carmarthen, Louise Phillips from Swansea, and Marion Davis from Cardiff. So, as tradition dictates, let's find a little bit more about them.
So we're a community arts charity. I co-set up in 2016, originally working with young people, help build confidence and self-esteem. And now we work with North Wales Police, we work with Chester Zoo, we work with track students, young mums to build confidence. We run summer schools. I do little bits of television, only tiny parts, but I'm still acting, I'm still doing it, which is great. And that informs the work that I do with young people. I'm very proud of what the Denby Workshop has achieved in our community, the fact that we bring people together. I work with those hardest to reach and hardest to engage with, and we have success, with doing that and engaging with young people who find it difficult to engage within a normal school setting. I tend to lead by example. I've got a 12-year-old daughter myself, and I want her to make a difference in this world, really. It's not like going to work. It's something that I love to do.
Sian Morgan, Chief Executive, Hafan Cymru. I lead the organisation. We're a supported housing provider and a registered social landlord. We work with a range of people who are facing various crises in their life, from fleeing domestic abuse, domestic violence, to homelessness, substance misuse, isolation. Myself, I had no self-belief as a human being at all. Came from a challenging background with my mum, which really affected the way I saw myself and how I felt other people saw me. And I was fortunate then to be surrounded by really good people who encouraged me to take the leap, and I did. And I just progressed from there. I was really humbled by the organisation because I didn't realise they were putting me forward. And I think it's because of the journey that I've been on within the business, stepping into an organisation that had multiple challenges when I first came into my role. And the fact that I've been able to take on that journey with me, a number of women in the business who you could recognise the potential in, but they had no self-belief. So it was about giving them that belief in themselves to take that step forward and put themselves out there within the organisation.
My title is Vice President of Customer Centres at Virgin Atlantic and Virgin Atlantic Holidays. A lot of people say to me, how did you go from being cabin crew to being the vice president? And I think it's got to be about sharing and helping other people understand how I got there, and being honest about the fact that I have suffered with imposter syndrome quite a lot over the years and how I've kind of overcome that. I went to university, actually. I just didn't finish university and I went off to be cabin crew. And I think that's where a lot of my imposter syndrome is coming over the years, where people would perhaps expect me to have a degree. And so I do try to show others, particularly other women, that you can absolutely, you don't need, a degree doesn't define you. And so you absolutely can get there with hard work and the right passion. I spent a lot of time, I guess, just coaching and mentoring females. I often give the example, they'd look at a job advert and look at the things they think they can't do, whereas versus a male would look at it and just probably ignore 60% of the advert and just look at what they can. And we've spent a lot of time just really trying to break down those barriers, really, and bring people's confidence through.
I am the site director of Convatec's Rumney facility in South Wales. I'm a chemical engineer by training. I studied at Newcastle University in the 90s. So I've always worked in male-dominated environment, especially the steelworks. Now moving back into medical devices. So one of the things I identified when I came here was that the structure had been sort of the same over many, many years. Coming in with a fresh pair of eyes, I sort of readily identified that we'd be better if we, instead of having separate teams, we had one team which would allow us to have more cross-training, enable more development opportunities for people so that they can see a career path, and it's not just a kind of static waiting for somebody to retire. Overnight, that's got rid of some of the relationship issues we had over the site. We're one team now, all aligned. I do try and pride myself on making sure that we have an inclusive environment where we encourage everybody. For me, it's everybody. We're all different in whatever way, shape or form. And I think that we should be celebrating the differences and building on that rather than trying to make everybody the same.
I don't know whether this wonderful human being is going to go left or right up this stage. We've had both tonight, but I'm delighted to let you know that this wonderful human being is going to win tonight, and the winner is Sian Morgan.
A massive congratulations to you, Shan. There we are. We won't put too much pressure, don't worry. We saw a little bit about the work you do already up there. Is there anything you'd like to add? How are you feeling?
Wow, I just don't know what to say, actually, because the ladies in my group were phenomenal. And I'm blown away that I won. So thank you very much.
Oh, enjoy it, embrace it.
Very well deserved, yes. Massive congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much to Phil as well for presenting that award for us this evening. A huge congratulations. So many people are overwhelmed by winning tonight. You can see just how much it means to everyone, I think. Don't forget to stay tuned if you're watching online, because, of course, coming up this evening, as well as lots more awards and amazing winners, you also get to find out who our overall Women's Spire champion for 2022 will be.
I know, I can't wait. Well, I'm noson fendigedig ac ysbrydoledig. What an inspiring evening so far, and there is still so much more to come. It's great to see so many wonderful individuals from so many different areas of Wales all making a real difference. Now, I think we should check in with our video wall and see how everyone's getting on. Let's see if we can...
This is where we hope the technology works and everybody is there.
Look at that.
Oh, I don't know whether they can actually hear us at home. If you can, then give us a big wave. Yeah, some of them are waving. Oh, I can. Can I? There is a dog. I'm a big dog fan. I've got 3 dogs, so I'm always looking out for the animals. A very well-behaved dog as well, I think.
Yeah, paying lots of attention there, I can see.
Well, thank you to all who are joining us virtually, and we can see in the Zoom room there. Are you all enjoying the awards? A big thumbs up if you're enjoying from where you're sitting this evening. Is there a bit of a delay? No, they're giving us a thumbs up. That's good. Everybody's happy in the Zoom room.
Good, fantastic.
Good. And joining us online. Thank you very much. So that brings us on now to our Learner Award, sponsored by the Open University in Wales. This award celebrates those women who have re-entered learning and education as adults and made the most of it, not only excelling themselves, but also supporting and encouraging other women to make the most of their potential as well. So to hear a little bit more about this category, we'll welcome our award sponsor for this Learner Award, Michelle Matheran from the Open University in Wales. Michelle, welcome. Hello to you. How are you?
Noswaith, good evening. At the Open University in Wales, we know how much learning can change lives. We see every day the impact it has on individuals, on their families, and on the wider community. But what we also see is the hard work, commitment, and dedication that students put into achieving their goals, particularly students who may have to overcome multiple barriers in order to study. Our 4 finalists tonight are all inspirational learners who have worked incredibly hard and used education to change their lives. It's a real privilege for us to be able to support Chwarae Teg to honour them this evening. And the finalists are Renaz Khan from Cardiff, Julie Edwards from Haverfordwest, Kelsey Janes from Swansea, and Claire Loudon from Carnarvon. Let's hear a little bit more about them.
I'm a fitness instructor. I've just qualified, so I was studying at Cardiff and Vale College. I'm a mum of 2 girls as well, so that was hard trying to juggle being a mum and studying. There was a bit of reluctance from my tutors. They weren't sure because of my disability. So I'm teaching spin classes at the moment and strength classes at Channelview Leisure Centre. I'm taking the class, I'm trying to motivate them, I'm shouting out the instructions, I'm demonstrating what I want them to do. I have an assistant when I'm doing my job who kind of is my eyes, but doing the exercises, designing the programme, designing the classes, that's all what I do. My tutor now, he's happy to admit, he said totally changed his mind on how he views other students with disabilities or other sort of barriers coming in, to hopefully maybe not sort of judge them off the bat and think, oh, they probably can't do this.
I work for ATEB Group Housing Association.
And we have a sister company, Millbay Homes. They build houses for market sale. Any profits that they make is then gift aided back to the ATEB Association. I've been a learner all my life. When the opportunity came to do the Chwarae Teg course, it seemed like just what I needed. I've learned so very much that I've been able to use, not just in my work life, but in my, in my private life, in my personal life as well. Time was my biggest barrier. I support my parents. My mum is virtually housebound, so trying to fit in Chwarae Teg and working full time was, a bit of a task, but well worth it, very well worth it in the end, I am absolutely blown away by the fact that I've been nominated, to be honest. I don't really understand why I'm here. I don't understand why people find me inspiring, because I don't think that I am particularly inspiring. I am what I am. This is the way that I was created. And so I'm very grateful for that,
I left comprehensive school with no GCSEs. I suffered quite dramatically. I'm quite dyslexic. So I started off as a cleaning operative myself. And then it was the gamble that I needed to go back to my previous employment or take the plunge and go higher up the ladder. And I did. And that's how I came across Chwarae Teg then. It was quite difficult coming back into the educational sector of things. I've learned so much, even about myself personally. My confidence has grown dramatically. I now have the knowledge and the experience to lead and manage a team, and it's just phenomenal. I wouldn't have necessarily have jumped into any sort of course or training that included any sort of educational purposes. But now I feel that I can do anything and accomplish anything after taking part in this. I wanted to really knuckle down and get through it. So I think they maybe obviously noticed my dedication and my hard work. So yeah, I think that's why I've been nominated.
I started doing an Open University degree remotely after I had my youngest child. So I used to wait for the children to go to bed so that I could study till the early hours, and just get it done, just one way or another, just make sure I got the work done. I was nominated, I think, for qualifying in the pandemic, sitting my final exams while the children were being homeschooled and working full time, doing that 80-mile round trip every day to work. So I've got one final piece of work to submit to get my master's in law. I've done nearly 8 years study. 7 of those years I've been working full time as well. It's been a challenge, but I've got there in the end. I think if you want to change a career, there's so many opportunities out there now for people to do it. It's not a case of going and doing your A-levels and going straight to university and then that ship's sailed. There's so many other options now that people can do. And I'm an example. If you want to do it, there's no reason why you can't.
For Incredible Women, and the winner is Kelsey James.
We'll give this to you. Congratulations, firstly. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm on cloud 9. I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words, and that's not me usually. I was really chuffed to have gained my qualification, obviously, with struggling in comprehensive. But I think to receive this just goes to show all the hard work, and it's never too late to go back into education. So I hope I'm the prime example of that for anyone else thinking of leaping back into education.
Absolutely. I've no doubt that you are. Massive congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Celebrate. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
And have a quick picture first of you. Wow. Well, thank you, and congratulations to you, Kelsey. And a big diolch to Michelle from the Open University in Wales, a Brifysgol Agored yng Nghymru, for sponsoring this fantastic Learner Award. Now, I think we should have a quick look at the chat bar.
See how you are getting involved. If you're watching online, lots of you getting in touch. Cheryl, first of all, well, we're going right across the UK. This is not just Wales-based, you know. Cheryl is watching from Hull in East Yorkshire and says that she wishes that they had something like this superb programme to celebrate it up there. Well, there's a challenge. Get this spread across the whole of the UK, Keris.
Absolutely. There you go. We've got Rhiannon as well that says, such inspirational stories. Well done. Inspirational indeed. I agree with that.
Yeah, and Becca, we're not even just going across the UK, we are going international. Becca is watching from Florence in Italy.
Wow.
And she says, I feel so inspired by these amazing women. I hope I can find half the motivation that they have in the future. I've no doubt that you will. Yeah, the evening is all about shining a light and inspiring, and that is indeed what it's doing across the world, it seems. So thank you very much to everybody, Becca, Cheryl, and Rhiannon, who are just fueling that fire of inspiration for us this evening, I think.
We love it. Keep them coming in. It's fantastic to see. Nawr, nesaf yw ein gwobr Seren Disglair. Now on to our next award, which recognises the women at the beginning of their journeys in different roles and sectors who show great promise for the future. Now, the Rising Star Award is sponsored by fintech company Target Group, which is a tech Mahindra company. So please welcome Michelle Garrard, Talent Acquisition Manager from Target Group, to say a few words. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Target Group and Quarry Teg, I'm delighted to have been invited on stage this evening to present this year's Rising Star Award. We're proud to sponsor this event and to support Quarry Teg with the work they do to highlight and recognise the achievements of women. Looking at the past winners of this category, I've been inspired by the young women who have defied odds, broken down barriers and changed perceptions. The shortlist this year is no different, with some amazing achievements and a really tough decision for the judges. This year's finalists are Nicole Hughes from Dysirth, Emily Nicole Roberts from Pontydilais, Casey Hopkins from Port Talbot, and Laura Payne from Barry. Let's meet them.
So I've got cerebral palsy, which means that I'm a full-time wheelchair user. I was born with a condition, but I only started advocacy. I've been doing it now since my early 20s. I'm 24 now. So when I was 20, I started making videos on YouTube because when I was younger, I never really knew how to do certain things growing up. Even my mates, they were like, oh my God, we never knew how you got dressed and we never knew how you got in and out the shower. So like, it's just cool to be real and be myself on social media, but like also like love doing it as well, like have fun doing it. You know, even if they're not disabled, I just want to make people realise their own abilities and their own strengths really, and like you can do anything you want to, like anytime anyone's ever like, oh my God, you're amazing, it's always like a huge shock to me because I never planned to get noticed or get any sort of accolade because it just seems like so normal. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, just pick up my camera and show people what I'm doing today, but it means a lot. It does mean a lot.
I currently work for Welsh Women's Aid as a research and evaluation officer. My mum, she's a single parent, and we went through a period of homelessness, so we didn't have anywhere to live. We had to move in with family members and we were all staying in a room, so me, my mum and my brother, for about a year. I did a criminology and criminal justice degree, but because of close family members have criminal backgrounds, I wasn't able to get far in that field, so I had to sort of reconsider my career prospects. So I tried to do a master's in law, and the finance officer said, can't your parents remortgage the house to pay for the course? But obviously my mum didn't own a house at the time. We were living in a council house, so that wasn't possible. And then luckily, I got invited to interview for a funded PhD, and then that's where I am now. So I finished my PhD last year. Though I do struggle to see how or why I've been nominated and got so far, it does sort of give you hope in a way, despite all of sort of like the barriers that you face and all the different directions that you have to go to try and get somewhere where you're actually happy and you enjoy the work that you do. That is kind of like inspiring to other people as well. So yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm a lecturer in the Computer Science department and Programme Director of the degree apprenticeship. Computer science is quite a male-dominated field. So when I was a student, there was only 7 females in a class of 120. And I think that's what kind of pushed me then to do well, was because I stood out as a female. And so I wanted to prove that I was worthy of a place amongst my colleagues once I graduated. So I became a lecturer when I was 24, which was quite young, quite a large responsibility. And I think, well, I hope most of the students appreciate the work that I do for them anyway. I'm still trying, outside of my standard roles, to push for more females to get involved. I'll do outreach events, I do the open days within the university. But not only that, once they are in the department, we want them to feel involved and included. I know what it's like to feel like a minority and kind of pushed aside, especially by the other males who might think, because they're dominant in the field, they think they're sometimes better. And then the females are left feeling, I don't belong here, that sort of thing. I've tried to get them involved in events. And we've gone out for meals together just to talk about our experiences so that they don't feel pushed out and their feelings are justified. Hope it increases. We can pray.
My name is Laura Payne and I am the Director of LCVA Services. LCVA Services is a virtual business support service. We provide virtual support to multiple businesses and organisations across the UK and now worldwide. We started back in 2018. Within a couple of years, the pandemic hit. We were already doing what they were basically educating people to do at the time. I left school when I was 16. I was a bit of a rebel child. I fell pregnant when I was 17. I actually had him when I was 18. I'd say about a year after I had my son, the relationship just got very dark and I just basically had to leave home for mine and my son's safety. I'd lost my job around the same time as well. I'd got made redundant. A lot of hard, nasty things happened at the same time. So there was a lot of hurdles to overcome. Confidence, funding for what I wanted to achieve, the childcare elements, and having that good work-life balance in between. It all worked in the end. And now that I've been able to do it for myself, I want people to be able to do it for them as well.
And this year's winner for Rising Star is Emily Roberts.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Oh my god, I could scream! Down the mic!
Do you know what? It's good to have a scream on stage.
I can't believe it! Oh my god, I cannot believe it! Ah!
You know, you're just so busy. You've got so many people that you're inspiring and helping out.
Oh my god!
It's just wonderful. What's the best thing about what you do? What's the feeling you get? It must be such a sense of satisfaction from what you're doing.
It is, it really is. It's just mental, you know. I started like making videos and like, to know I'm like touching people's lives. It's just mental, like it's crazy.
What sort of feedback do you get from people?
Oh my God, people all over the world. It's just like, oh, you know, like the best feedback I get is like watching you. My child has a disability and I kind of know what they're going to be like. And it's like, yeah, I wanted to do it for little me. Because when I was a kid, I never had anybody to watch. So, yeah.
Well, you've
but now I've got to make more videos.
Yes.
Well, you've certainly done little you very, very proud this evening, and I'm sure all your friends and family would agree, and all those who you're helping around the world as well.
Do it for Swansea, woo!
I have a picture as well. Oh, thank you ever so much. Enjoy your evening this evening.
When I go down that ramp, it's much easier than going up it.
You be careful now.
There we go, I'll take this.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Oh, Emily, thank you so much for just being here, really, and your reaction this evening, absolutely brilliant. It's so wondrous, everybody receiving awards tonight, but to get a scream on stage, come on, we've got to give that a round of applause. And thank you so much to Target Group for supporting the award this evening as well. Don't forget, for those of you who are watching this ceremony online, we do want to see how you're celebrating, so get those things into us with the Womenspire hashtag. As you know, we've been dipping in and out of them throughout the evening, and we've been reading them out. So maybe you've decorated your living room, maybe you're watching with your family, maybe you're watching with your pets. We've had a few of those this evening, haven't we? Maybe you're in your slippers. I'm very, very envious of that, actually, if you're in your slippers tonight. Or maybe you've just got a cup of tea, which is lovely, snuggling up to watch it with a cup of tea. But let us know, hashtag Womenspire. So coming up, we now have our Women in Health and Care Award, which is sponsored by HEIW, that's Health, Education and Improvement Wales. It is new to Womenspire last year, actually. It's an award for a woman who has set a shining example across any aspect of health or care, from medical and support staff to training or educational roles. So please welcome to the stage this evening for the next award to tell us a bit more about it, Alex Howells, Chief Executive of HEIW. Welcome.
Noswaith dda, good evening. I think I've got the worst slot in the evening following that act, actually, very mean, but we'll try. So, Health, Education and Improvement Wales is the national workforce body for the NHS in Wales, and so it's really critical that we embed equality and diversity in everything that we do, and we're really pleased and delighted to be sponsoring this award for women in health and care for the second year in a row. And I think that the category attracts so many diverse professions, occupations and roles, and so it's a great showcase to show how many different opportunities there are, challenging and rewarding opportunities for women in the NHS in Wales. And one of our top priorities in HEIW is the development and promotion of compassionate leadership. That's so important for our patients, that's so important for our communities, and I think you'll see that in all of our finalists tonight. So, without more ado, our first finalist is Dr. Seema Ahmed from Cardiff. And then we have Kelly Clewett from Prestatyn. We have Dawn Garwood from Barry. And then we have Carol Davis from Abersychan. So let's hear some more about our finalists.
As somebody who is known within the community of being a doctor within the local Muslim communities or Asian community, shall I say, there was a lot of questions arising because of the misinformation that was being presented to them via social media. The other issue is that it was going into communities that maybe they weren't able to access the correct information in a language that they could understand. a group of doctors around Wales started chatting, and we said we need to do something about this. So we set up Muslim Doctors Cymru. We thought that the best way of dealing with so many questions being asked to us as individuals is come together and bring in a faith leader to answer the faith-related questions, and us as doctors to be able to answer the medical questions. And now, hopefully, what we've done is come together, and what started with a handful of doctors is now 130 healthcare professionals, which includes not only doctors, but key members of the healthcare system, which are nurses, pharmacists, medical students, radiographers. We are aware that there are health inequalities within communities, and our aim is to chip away at that.
So I'm a community nurse, so we manage patients in their own homes. We manage a team of Band 5 community nurses and healthcare support workers. So we look after people who are waiting for social care packages, basically. So the COVID pandemic, it highlighted what we were able to do, if anything. So there was positive outcomes. I think we were shown as a group of professionals, we were still out there looking after patients. It's just shown what we as a team, as a service, are capable of. There isn't anything that will stop us, or that could stop us from being able to look after patients in their own homes. And I'd always sort of had it in my mind that I'd like to be a nurse, but never thought that I could deal with the nitty-gritty, the blood and the guts of it all. But while I was a patient, I saw lots of things, and none of it bothered me. I really wanted to do what those nurses were doing for me, and I was watching the nurses on the wards, and I just thought I'd love to do that. I'm really pleased to be nominated on behalf of all of our district nurses.
I'm the dietitian here in Landock Hospital for adult mental health and eating disorders. Diet and mental health is really tightly linked, and I think dietetics plays a real role in somebody's well-being and their mental health. I went to university in my 40s. As a young person, I very much wrote myself off education-wise. What it did for me personally in terms of my confidence, achieving those grades and thinking, gosh, my brain can remember things, I can pass exams. I wasn't able to have a graduation ceremony, obviously, because of the pandemic. But what the team here did is they did my own ceremony and hired me the cap and gown. I know now who's nominated me, although she's not said so definitely. So I think she feels quite proud of me that I did sort of go back and get my degree. That means a huge amount to me. Don't write yourself off, and if you have, then you can still go back and tackle it later, even if you are a grandma.
I'm a Macmillan lung cancer nurse specialist. I just found that I had a appalling interest in communicating with people with cancer. I undertook training to give chemotherapy. I've always thought that we're in a very privileged position. When people ask us questions, they are trusting us to answer those questions, not avoid them, and to be honest with them. Some people cope with the treatment very, very well and have very positive outcomes, very few side effects. Other people have a lot of side effects. So the conversation is not usually a one-off conversation. It's something that is carried on at future consultations and times. We set up a support group, patients and their loved ones who attended. The feedback's been so positive, overwhelmed really by how much we've learned. I've done a few presentations with regards to patient stories at local and international level, and it's such an honour to be able to actually tell that individual story, because that's the reason that people want to tell their story, is so that healthcare professionals can learn. I was very surprised by the nomination. It was a huge shock because I'm not somebody to be in the limelight, but it's a huge honour, huge, huge honour.
So the winner of the Women in Health and Care Award is Kelly Clewett. Unfortunately, Kelly can't be with us tonight, so we'll make sure that we get the award to her.
Yes. Yes, we're really sorry that Kelly can't be with us tonight, but I hope she's managing to celebrate at some point in the near future. A massive congratulations to you, Kelly, and thank you to Alex Howells as well for our sponsor award, HEIW, that's Addysg Gwella Iechyd Cymru. I think we should check in with our lovely audience here in the pier head. Is everyone having a good time? Everyone good?
Talked a lot about the audience online and in Zoom, but you're all here this evening, and hopefully you're feeling motivated and inspired. Are you feeling motivated tonight, having heard all these wonderful stories?
Great, so amazing.
Well, there's more to come yet, and of course, right at the end of the night, we've got the Champion of Champions Award as well, so yeah.
Of course, we hope wherever you are that you're enjoying the awards tonight. And of course, if you're not here with us today, you're following along on social media using the hashtag Womenspire, cofiwch I ddefnyddio hashtag Womenspire ar gyfer y cyfryngau cymdeithasol. Nawr, ein gwybod nesaf yw menyw mewn chwaraeon sydd wedi ei nodi gan Chwaraeon Cymru. A mae'r wobr hon yn cydnabod y cyfraniad mae menywod yn ei wneud i chwaraeon yng Nghymru, gall fod yn athletwraig, yn hyfforddwraig neu unrhyw rôl arall. Our next award is for Women in Sport, which recognises the contribution women make to sport in Wales, whether this be as an athlete, a coach, or in any other role. And aptly sponsored by Sports Wales, I would now like to welcome Cerys Bowen from Sport Wales to join us. Croeso, Cerys.
Noswaith dda, shwmai. It has been a privilege to play our part in this year's Womenspire Awards. At Sport Wales and across the sports sector, we believe that Wales should be a nation where everyone can have a lifelong enjoyment of sport. And all of our finalists have gone above and beyond to ensure that hundreds of women and girls are offered that very opportunity. We can learn a lot from your experiences, and we're proud to celebrate your achievements. Llongyfarchiadau. And the nominations are for this award: Vera Ngozi Sambrook from Cardiff, Lydia Clements from Cardiff, Emma Thompson from Cardiff, and Siwan Lillycrap from Swansea. Let's hear some more about them.
So I applied for this scholarship called Ultra Distance Scholarship, aimed at Black and minority ethnic people to get them into this crazy sport of distance cycling. I won it, surprisingly, and in 2021 I embarked on this 6-month journey, going from a leisure cyclist to doing this 2,000-kilometer bike race. And I got given a coach, I got measured and bike fitted, and then took part in this grueling race and managed to complete it, and came in 4th. The person who came first is a record holder for cycling around the world. So it just shows you the sort of scale of this challenge. And then from there, I thought to myself, I could go even bigger and just do bigger races. But my interest has now gone into getting other people into cycling and not always making it about competition. It's about community. And that's what I've been involved in, arranging bikepacking trips and leading groups. I've been a big advocate for getting more women of colour and people of colour to just push their boundaries and embark on these challenges. And that's meant mentoring, attending events and speaking and being a spokesperson, really, to encourage the cycling industry brands to think about how they can be more inclusive, increase their participation of people from different groups.
I'm currently working as a paralegal at DAS Law, and then I currently captain RADA Cricket Club women's team. I'm also a part of the Women's First 11 for Wales, and within that sort of coach the Wales under 13 girls. So netball and hockey are definitely more established, but I think there is definitely a want there from lots of girls, and there's just not necessarily the provision for them. So that was my intentions as I developed with my coaching, making that available to them so that they could sort of play with friends and play at clubs that had sort of women's teams and girls teams and things like that. At RADA particularly, we've tried to establish sort of a women's team so they can see sort of that progression. Encouraging them to sort of be there with friends is really important. Like I said, it's a very, very social sport. So if you can encourage people to stay together, making sessions fun and exciting, then hopefully sort of that drop-off rate will decrease and they'll stay sort of right the way through to the women's setup if that's something they want to do. I was very surprised to have been nominated. I'd like to think sort of put in a lot of work into sort of women and girls cricket within the club and within South Wales itself. It's a nice recognition to have had.
My job role is an exercise referral professional. I also take a number of different football sessions with different clubs and actively coach within a leisure centre. So the exercise referral role is a unique role as a fitness instructor working with people with different medical conditions. So they get referred to us as part of their prescription and to help maintain mobility, independence, recover from surgery processes with the long-term gain of maintaining independence and returning back to some physical fitness. So for a lot of our customers, we have long-term health conditions and we can help them get around those barriers and continue to do what they always enjoyed, really. Giving you back independence, confidence to go and do what you want to do, feel safe, be part of a group, have that social element. I've been quite blown away by actually being nominated. To know that I've impacted people in a positive way makes it all worthwhile, really.
I'm a professional rugby player, captain of Wales. I was one of the first professional players in January. 12 of us got made professional. Before January, we were all juggling full-time jobs and playing full-time. So I was head of rugby at Swansea University. So I was juggling that full-time job, doing 40 hours a week there and trying to play to the best standard I could and captain Wales and lead the girls through this change and process that we've been through as well. To be honest, it came as a huge surprise to be nominated, and obviously someone's recognised something that I've done. But you know, the main thing for me is I was a voice for the squad. I remember when it got announced that professional contracts, the first 12 would come in. We were training at Cardiff Arms Park at the time, and there was a skills centre there. I remember speaking to the girls, and they were just, you know, these are under 18s girls, and they were like, I'm so excited because now we can aspire to be professional rugby players. We can do this as a job. That was the most significant and magical moment, is what it's doing for younger generations and what they can aspire to be. And that is through the squad, speaking up and doing things in the correct way and working with the WRU collectively to make sure something positive happens.
And the winner is Vera Ngozi Sambrook.
I can see you're emotional about that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Imposter syndrome is telling me I shouldn't be up here.
No, you should be up here.
I was not expected to be up here, just listening to the other people in my category and reading about them. And yeah, I'm really amazed. And I don't know, for me, I guess I just enjoyed something and then and just let that passion show. And I'm at a loss for words, but thank you all so much. And yeah,
what would be your message for anyone thinking about doing what you're doing? What would you say to them?
I would say, if you love something, just share that passion with others. Because for me, I never set out to inspire anyone. I just loved what I did and just let it show. And like, it's amazing what that sort of turned into and the community that it's brought me, and it's made me feel more at home here in Wales, which is sort of my second home, and it's given me that community, and that's amazing.
I mean, I'd ask what's next. Is there any up and coming big plans you've got going on that you can share with us? Or?
No, more of just building communities, getting women into cycling in the outdoors, and just making it more inclusive from people from all backgrounds, really.
Well, you've already done that marvellously. I'm sure you'll continue to do so. A big round of applause again for Vera. Quick photo of Vera. Just a quick photo on the stage. Well
Congratulations.
Thank you to a very emotional Vera this evening. Well done for everything you're doing, and also to Cerys as well for coming up from Sport Wales to present that award for us this evening. And to all of the winners so far, indeed to all of the finalists so far as well. And you're all getting involved at home. As we said, we're looking through some of your comments tonight.
Oh, lovely. We've got, wow, congratulations, Zara. Your award will inspire so many more. Go celebrate. I'm sure you will tonight.
Yeah,
we will be just celebrating.
That was, harking back to one of the other awards we had this evening. A lot of people are saying congratulations to Zara, and her reaction was making them so emotional and making them cry. Well, we've had a few more tears on the stage this evening, haven't we? What else are you saying tonight? Nadine is saying, first time that she's watched these awards. It's an amazing event full of inspirational women. Everybody inspired. I know we're using that word a lot, but that's because it's apt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, what's next for this evening then? We have the Woman in STEM Awards, sponsored by the ABPI. That's the Association of the British Pharmaceutical Industry. This award celebrates those women who are making their mark in STEM sector right across Wales. Our winner will be encouraging other women into these disciplines and also supporting women to progress on their career paths as well. So please welcome Joanne Ferris, the ABPI's Operations Manager, to introduce this award for us this evening. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you. The Association of the British Pharmaceutical Industry, or the ABPI for short, members supply cutting-edge treatments that improve and save the lives of millions of people. It is important to the ABPI and to our members that we can recruit the very best people, regardless of gender. That's why we're delighted that this is our 5th year supporting Women Inspire, and more particularly, the Women in STEM Award. Now, I'm delighted to introduce you to our finalists. The nominations are Catherine Axton from Caerphilly, Tanya Jones from Garwen, Paige Tynan from Wrexham, and Emma Weinel from Cardiff. Let's hear from them.
I did science in school for my GCSEs, as everybody does, and my science teacher told me that I'd fail in science, so there was no point continuing it with for A-level. Them telling me I couldn't do it kind of pushed me to actually prove them wrong, and now I'm doing a PhD and I teach science, so clearly that push was needed. So we do a lot of outreach with schools and colleges. So I've ran facial reconstruction workshops and fingerprint workshops for girls that are in like year 9 to year 11 to get them interested in science. Growing up, I didn't really know any female scientists, and I feel like the representation really does matter, and we really need to catch them early on to show like girls can do it too. I'm only 24, so to be recognised for the work I'm doing in STEM already is just amazing.
I'm a STEM and Projects Officer here at MSpark on Anglesey. MSpark is a science park specialising in innovation, thinking about new problems and how to solve those problems using STEM techniques. I'm originally from Anglesey, so I'm Anglesey born and bred. Most of my family also work within the STEM industry, and I have a degree in design as well. So I have a vested interest in this. Obviously, I'm aware of the skills gap. I know the type of skills that we're looking for to make sure that we can, meet this demand really. So I'm passionate for people to make the transition between education and STEM careers, that they know where the opportunities are and how to get there as well. I want to motivate them to get the best out of the area as well. We have had a couple of events here, one called Merched Medrys, where we aim to react to stereotypes where women didn't think they had a role within STEM, but there is a definite role for them. what we tend to do is to share role models with them so that they can see, oh, this is how I get into STEM, this is acceptable, and this is accessible to me as well. So trying to get young girls motivated soon so that they can see, yes, I can achieve this.
I'm a software engineer in the DevOps department at Roku. I'm a mature student, so I didn't choose to go into technology until I was a bit older. I was 23. There's a lot of misconceptions about software engineering, that it's very mathy. You know, I'm terrible at maths. And I just wrote this article trying to sort of dispel some of those and show that it's a lot more accessible. Even if it helped one person realise that actually this was something that they could do and they were able to find a role, find something that they really enjoyed doing. You don't have to go to university for 3 to 4 years to study to do this. It's something you can pick up just when your children are in bed or in the mornings or during a part-time job. I go to a lot of schools. I try and go to tech fairs and encourage people to apply for the roles. I tell them about my own stories. I've also spoken a lot with interview panels and things, trying to sort of find ways to make it more appealing to a woman to apply. I actually got into software engineering through computer games. Everybody plays video games, be it on your phone or on a computer, and being able to see technology as something that you can use every day, I think makes it a bit more appealing.
For me, it was really my grandparents that got me interested in neuroscience. So they suffered from Alzheimer's disease. I remember being a child and being really upset that the doctors couldn't help. My nana, for me, a lot of the work I do is around raising public understanding and awareness. I think lots of us are so frightened and scared to talk about the brain and conditions that might affect it. But actually it is about encouraging those conversations. I am at a career stage where we see a huge drop-off in the number of women in science and STEM careers. So I'm acutely aware of that and trying to do lots of work around working with learning societies and organisations so that we can retain the incredible women that we do have in STEM. So in the pandemic, I was well known for a mini disco, so particularly among our student population, lots of students feeling quite sad. So I decided to play them some music at the beginning of their lectures. So we had, Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart for cardiac muscle lectures, for example. And it was just a really nice way of getting the students involved, lightening the mood, and showing them that we care.
For absolutely fabulous women, but I'm personally really delighted to announce the winner is Catherine Axton.
Congratulations, Catherine. Here we go. Mike is yours. How are you feeling?
Very shaky.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this.
Well, very well deserved, of course.
Thank you.
Can I ask, what is it that makes you so passionate about getting women into the STEM sector?
I think we've heard it before in one of the people here is a lecturer. When I started in university, there was 6 in my class of females of about 200. And again, I felt like I had to be the very best just to try and earn my place. I've definitely had a lot of sort of adversity when I'm trying to get positions and stuff. Sorry, I'm so shaky.
No,
you're forgiven. It's okay.
Yeah. I just want to make it easier for other women to realise that we are out there and that we're making it a better place. And come join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful words. You absolutely are making it a better place. Thank you so much, and a massive congratulations to you tonight. Congratulations. Congratulations.
There you go and join STEM communities.
Yes, right, I will. Diolch, Catherine. Thank you so much. A huge well done to you, and of course, a big thank you to Joanne Ferris and the ABPI for sponsoring this Women in STEM Award. Nawr, ymlaen at ein categori olaf ein noson. I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but we have now reached our final category. Now, this is for our Fair Play Employer Award, which is sponsored by Hodge. Now, the Fair Play Employer Award is not for an individual, rather an organisation or business, which is forward-thinking, adapting the way it works by using new, innovative practices which enable women and the wider workforce to grow and thrive. Mae chwarae teg yn gweithio gyda busnesau a sefydliadau mawr a bach ledled Cymru trwy'r gwasanaeth cyflogwyr chwarae teg. Chwarae Teg works with businesses and organisations, large and small, across Wales through its Fair Play Employer service. Now, our Fair Play Employer Award tonight celebrates some of those employers who are working with Chwarae Teg to take positive steps to tackle the gender pay gaps and to create more equal, inclusive and diverse workplaces. Now, we're incredibly grateful to Hodge for sponsoring the Fair Play Employer Award and would love to welcome David Landon, CEO of Hodge, to the stage. Welcome, David.
Thank you all. I'm honoured and privileged to present the final award of the evening, the Fair Play Employer Award. I'd say you've saved the best till last, but I'd say we've had an evening of really, truly inspirational stories and seeing amazing women in here in Wales breaking down barriers, and it's been fantastic to see. I'm the CEO of Hodge Bank, and we sponsored this award because facing into those barriers and those challenges is the only way that we can really be an inclusive, fair employer, and that, in the end, makes us a successful one, to attract and retain the best talent, whatever the background. And I'd say in a time when things are tough, when there are challenges, it's those core principles of fairness and equality that need to be retained and are so too easy to throw away. So it's a huge privilege to present this award. So I'm really delighted to announce the finalists. They are Charles River, Gwent Police, South Wales Fire and Rescue Service, and the Open University in Wales.
I'm Chris Hare. I work for Gwent Police. My job is to hold the force to account to ensure that the things that we say that we're doing, we are doing. We ensure that each of our policies, be it child protection policy, recruitment policy, that they all have an equality impact assessment. So we ensure that no groups are maligned because of our policies and practices, so that it's as inclusive as it can be. Through our recruitment, we have Positive Action team who look after our Black and ethnic minority staff that come in, who aren't just brought through the door and left, they're supported throughout. We have members of staff buddied with senior staff members and senior police officers to give them a sort of a view from the ground, having them tell us what the problems are. We can then seek to fix it, because that's, the truth of the organisation then culturally of where we are. The diversity programs that we've got, the He for She movement that we've got, the white ribbon work that goes on within Force is something that we need to do and we have to do in order to make sure that we are as representative as we possibly can. But to be recognised and nominated, it's a nice place for us to be, because it recognises the hard work that has gone into what we have done and what we've achieved throughout the last couple of years.
So my name is Alison Reid. My job title is Director of People Services at South Wales Fire and Rescue Service. We've reviewed our whole recruitment process with a view to looking at things through an equal opportunity lens. Some examples are looking at the way that we conduct some of our recruitment processes. We do something called a ladder lift, which involves an individual hoisting a ladder at height. We change the gloves we would offer to female applicants. So just making some simple changes made the difference in terms of them being able to grab the ladder and lift. As well as looking at our processes, we looked at our media campaign. So we've got some actual real female firefighters in that campaign, but also using those same role models to help through the actual process. we run something called P&P. So that's our fitness physical challenge. We run female only sessions, and we used some of our female firefighters to facilitate those sessions. People could see that could be me. You can see what you can be, is the saying, isn't it? And that's the approach that we took. We had 21 females come through this campaign. It's one of the largest numbers we've seen in a number of years.
I'm Louise Casella, and I'm Director of the Open University in Wales. So around 200 staff in the office, different times that they're in the office, different connections, different jobs that they're doing, quite different teams that are involved in the work. It's hard sometimes to build those connections when you're working in your own team and you're not quite sure what other teams are doing. So we've set up a series of curious coffees where you can ask to have a coffee with anybody in the organisation and find out a bit more about their role and their job. So that's been taken up with quite a lot of enthusiasm by staff who get 20-minute, half an hour conversation and coffee with somebody who's not within their team. We've also put in place some very strong mentoring so people can seek a mentor or act as a mentor to each other. We're absolutely delighted to be nominated in the Fair Play Employer category because we have put a huge amount of effort and thought and work into changing our processes, and actually going through the Fair Play Employer scheme with Chwarae is a really good test for us. It's a good scrutiny of how well are we doing. We can say we want to do these things, but this tests us as to whether we're actually making the progress we think we are.
So I'm Alison Benneman, I'm HR Director, and I work for Charles River Discovery Research Services. We work with our partners to help to develop drugs. Many of our partners are pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies. I love working for Charles River, actually. It's a great organisation to work for. They have core key values that they work by, which is care, lead, own and collaborate. And that is woven into the fabric, if you like, of everything that they do. Our motto, if you like, as Charles River is together we create healthier lives. So that's our ethos, that's what we're all about. For me, it's about the passion. It's the passion, whether you're talking to me, whether you're talking to any one of the senior leadership team, it's that belief in harnessing that diversity and giving everybody the opportunity to be their very best that they can be at work. And you see that in all aspects of Charles River and what we're doing.
Some amazing stories there, but there can only be one winner, and the winner is the Open University in Wales.
Louise, do you mind if we hand you the microphone?
Thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations. Tell us what the secret is then.
I think the secret's a really brilliant team and actually having a really inclusive environment and having expectations of everyone, that it's everybody's responsibility to take on board the equality agenda and to make changes, and we have, and I'm really proud. Thank you very much indeed.
Well done. And you talked about communication there, and the curious coffees, was it?
Yeah.
Is that one of the big things is communication as well?
I think we were very aware in the pandemic what the community we'd been working really hard to build suddenly got dispersed, and all the usual ways that you connected with each other were lost. So a very conscious attempt to make sure we could still connect together. People still had ways through the organisation that went beyond their own immediate team. And so Curious Coffees is one, but there are plenty of others. And I think it's just about being really conscious about what you're doing and making the changes to your formal processes, but backing it up with your informal behaviours and culture as well.
Well done, a great success, and long may it continue. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Well done to the Open University in Wales, and thank you, of course, to David from Hodge for sponsoring the Fair Play Employer Award category as well. And good time to say thank you, I think, to our headline sponsor again, Vauxhall Finance, who we heard from at the beginning of the night, and all of our incredible Womenspire Award category and partner sponsors. We've said it a few times, but it really could not happen without you. So this is how we celebrate these amazing women, is by having you on board. So thank you very much to all of you. And if you'd like to find out more about the Womenspire sponsors, then you can head to the Chwarae Teg website. That's chwaraeteg.com, where you'll find information about just why they have decided it's so important for them to support these Womenspire Awards this evening.
Nawr, mae pobl gyntaf Powys yn helpu I drefnu grwpiau hunan eirioldraeth ar gyfer pobl ag anabledd dysgu ledled Powys. Un o'r grwpiau yw Theatr Wildcats, a rydyn ni'n lwcus iawn o gael nhw hefo ni heno. Now, before we move on to announce our final award for the Womenspire Champion of 2022, we have a very special performance for you all. Powys People First helps to organise self-advocacy groups for people with a learning disability across Powys. And one of their groups includes the amazing theatre Wildcats, and we are privileged to have them here tonight to tell us a little bit about themselves and to perform a song.
Yes, so from the Theatre Wildcats, we have actors Tina Holdsworth, Kath Thomas, Sarah Grattan, and also Claire Whittle, who will begin with a few words from the group, and then they'll have a performance for you. So a really great way to take us into the very last award. We had the final award of the categories just a minute ago, but the very final award after this performance will be the Womenspire Champion of Champions. So please give Theatre Wildcats a really warm welcome as they come to the stage to perform for you this evening.
Good evening. My name is Claire Whittle. We are actors from Theatre Wildcats. Theatre Wildcats is an inclusive theatre company based in Brecon. At the core of our performances is self-advocacy, building the confidence and skills to talk up for ourselves. We workshop various ideas and issues that matter to us using different drama techniques and games. This is when we develop into a full performance, which is usually once a year. But we tend to perform at the local theatre in Brecon. However, in the past, we've toured around Powys, schools and one in Cardiff. Our aim is to highlight the experiences and tell others that people with a learning disability are part of society and we have the same rights as everyone else. We are all people first and we deserve to be treated equally. Our current show, How to Be Happy, is in rehearsals and we hope to perform early in 2023. And it was due to be performed in April 2020, but sadly, we all had to stay at home. And we had to postpone. It was about Western view on happiness, e.g. having the latest car, top paid jobs, fashion, etc. In the show we explored that if this does truly make us happy and look at skills such as friendship, sharing, communication, and how important it is to making yourself and others happy. These skills are often overlooked and undermine us play a really important to the world around us. We'd like to share one of the songs and sing during the show. In fact, it's the final and a way of saying, this isn't goodbye, just see you later. As well as to make our performances accessible and include various ways of communication, we have also been learning a Makaton alongside the singing. Please feel free to join in. We'll meet again.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Oh, what a wonderful performance to almost finish off the night this evening. Thank you ever so much. I think they deserve another huge round of applause for Theatre Wildcats.
Well, am perfformiad syfrdanol, diolch o galon. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much to Theatre Wildcats.
I'm sure everybody at home will have been enjoying that as well. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you ever so much. It's got us all probably a bit teared up, I think, to end the evening. A lovely song like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, We have reached the very, very final award of the evening, the time when we crown our Womenspire Champion of Champions for 2022. This flagship award is chosen from the winners of all our categories and will be awarded to the individual that our panel has chosen for this evening as the overall winner. An extremely tough choice, as you can imagine, from seeing all the videos and meeting all of our winners so far this evening. Everybody so worthy of this award, but of course, there can only be one chosen in the end.
Glad it's not me choosing. Now, please welcome back to the stage to announce the winner, Sian Prigg from headline sponsor Vauxhall Finance.
Thank you. I have no idea how I follow any of what's happened tonight, particularly that last performance, but I'll try my best. For me, it's been incredibly inspirational tonight. I think what it's made me think personally, and from all of us at Vauxhall Finance, is we have to do more and we have to keep fighting. And I think the inspirational stories from all of you have really inspired me to do that. From Vauxhall Finance, we'd like to give our personal thanks and good luck to you, Cerys. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm sure whatever you go on to do, the women of Wales and the women of the world will thank you for all the work you've done, so thank you. So this leads us on to the final award. I'm incredibly happy that I didn't have to decide who the winner was, because you all would have won. But that wasn't the thing. So I will announce the winner, I think. Or not?
Do you want to say a little bit about the first to build up the tension?
I can do. Okay, so the winner of our Champion of Champion Awards for 2022 has had a profound effect on others, not wanting to see any young people with disabilities face the same struggles she has. This young woman decided to inspire, educate, and support others in many ways, including through her own YouTube videos. Anyone and everyone should watch them and learn. This woman means business, and she's only just started. As an innovative role model, she has helped so many to overcome barriers and live life to the max. And it's always done with a huge smile and infectious laugh. I don't think she needs any further introduction. I have no idea what's going to happen on this stage. However, the winner of the Chwarae Teg Womenspire Champion Award for 2022 is Emily Nicole Roberts.
And I want to give it to you all. You all deserve a piece of my award, because I got two, so I might as well give you one. Thank you so, so much. You don't know how much this means, honestly. It's genuine. Thank you.
Just a small technical thing, if you could sit down, because otherwise people watching the live broadcast can only see the backs of people's heads. But thank you very much for the standing ovation all the same. Now, have you got anyone you want to particularly thank tonight, or any messages you want to give?
Everyone. I want to thank my mum and my dad and everyone here at Chwarae Teg, and all the nominees and everyone watching, and you too. Yeah, everyone. Everyone.
Are there any, from everything everything you've done sort of over the years, everything you've done online, are there any kind of standout moments where you've thought, oh my goodness, this is really worth doing, it's really worth carrying on with this? People have got in touch with you, or moments where you've thought, right, I've got to carry on with this?
Yes, of course. I think my friends all thought I was mad when I told them I'm going to get dressed online. They were all like, sorry, what? But I was doing it for a purpose. But I think that video where I actually showed people how I get dressed as a wheelchair user was really like a turning moment, because my friends were like, wow, you're really taking this serious. You're not just making jokes online anymore, like you are actually doing something. So yeah, I think the fact when I actually started showing my life and not being afraid to be who I was, that was when I was like, I actually quite like this, let's go. So yeah.
And is that what you'd say, that before you were afraid and now you've started to
oh my God, I was terrified. I'm still terrified. I put the camera on, I'm like, oh my God, you can do this, Emily, come on, you've done 20 of these, but I'm still sweating behind the lens. So yes, I fake it till I make it. So yeah, I am still scared, but oh well, you just got to plod along.
Oh, you make it look very easy all the same.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Any final words you want to say to everybody, and everybody, of course, watching at home and around the world? Remember, there's lots of people watching all over the place.
Don't say that. I wanted to go and
no pressure.
Don't say that.
No pressure.
No, I just want to say a big thank you. And if you've ever doubted yourself, please don't, because you're amazing. There's only one of you on this planet. I'm going to go into my speech mode here, but yeah, you're awesome. Everybody watching. Yeah, that's it.
And you know what? We might have to get you on ITV tomorrow to celebrate.
Don't say that. I work for the BBC.
Do you think we should get her on ITV tomorrow? We definitely need to get you on telly tomorrow.
Oh my God, I'm going to be sweating, crying. Oh, I got to get over this first.
Oh, one more huge round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well done. So good. I almost want to go to the chat bar again, because I know people are going to be going crazy, but we can look at that afterwards, and we can soak it all up on Twitter and Facebook to see what everybody's saying about Emily's win tonight.
Definitely. A massive congratulations to you, Emily. Wow. Well, what an inspirational and empowering evening we have all had. It's been so fantastic to have you all in the room. I can't explain what a difference it makes. Just to have the energy in here has just been incredible, so inspirational. It's so good to celebrate all these remarkable finalists with all of you. Am noson ysbrydoledig rydyn ni gyd wedi cael wedi bod yn wych dathlu ein tylangwyr I gyd. Diolch I chi gyd yn fawr iawn am ymuno gyda ni ar-lein ac yma yn y Pierhead hefyd.
And every year these awards are wonderful, but I think every year they just keep getting that little bit better as well. So goodness knows what it's going to be like next year. We look forward to celebrating with everyone then as well. But for this evening, enough from us. Keep the smiles on your faces, go and celebrate, go and chat, and maybe share some of your secrets with one another as well. For now, that is it from us, and we will see you in 2023. Thank you ever so much for your attention.